Welcome to the Regenerative Living Garden. So today we're taking another tour, kind of showing the progress. We're always working on projects back here. This is a trellis that will be going from up here to up there, just kind of allowing these grapes to create like an overhang, which will be really cool. Woo! There's a new water tank. This guy will be installed here where it's kind of hidden, but there's a rain gutter right in here, and it will be dropping down into a tank here, which will be used for excess water storage, so we can lessen our groundwater use. So I'm really excited about that because we do not want to use groundwater here. That's actually one of our goals. As you can see, this roof is flat. Whenever I see wasted space anywhere, I'm like, hey, why don't we harvest water? So we're gonna actually add a tilt to this and then add a gutter and then direct that water flow. Haven't decided on where we're going to put the gutter, but we're going to direct it down to the grass. So that'll be really cool. And it's a beautiful morning. Still got some materials we're actually going to turn into biochar over here. I got to take it to our friend's farm to do so. Yeah, it's looking beautiful today. Welcome. So let's take a tour. Let's go this way. Let's go check it out. So these are some alpine strawberries, this bed and this bed. They are known as literally, I mean, by everyone that comes here, whether they're a volunteer, guest, whatever, the best strawberry they've ever had. I'd show you one right now, but they're not producing. They pretty much produce all year long. Actually, you know what? They're semi-producing, but they're not ready yet. So let me just show you what a not ready berry looks like. So that is what a not ready berry looks like, but they don't get much bigger. Alpine strawberries are very tiny, and they're amazing in flavor. They're like candy. So if you guys want your kids to eat more of nature's candy, grow some alpine strawberries. Highly recommend the Yellow Wonder. There is our nectarine tree, which is very deficient in fruit, and so is our plum, and that was a mistake. And it's not really our mistake, it's more of people's mistakes. We unfortunately have been having bad growing practices, bad practices in general with our soil, which have led to Victor Schauberger called it the half water cycle, and that half water cycle is causing the water, instead of to go into the ground and then be stored and then spring up and then go up into the sky and then fall again. The half water cycle is the water comes from the sky down to the ground, quickly evaporates back up into the sky, down to the ground, and so it never really recharges our water table and never creates springs, and so we end up with more rain, and not just more rain, but more flooding and more intense rain. So that intense rain is what knocked all the blooms off this guy. So next year we might have to be proactive about that, but we are working on a system that changes that. We installed a rainwater harvesting system. There's a wild sunflower. If you look close, there's a bunch of little sunflower seeds. It's super cool. Alrighty, so now I'm just taking a thorn out of my foot and we're going on. So here is some new blueberries that we planted, one here and one there. It looks like they might be a little have a little bit off pH, so we might have to add some humic acids. I'll kind of look more into that in a little bit and check it out, but they're still growing well. They're still producing a little bit of berries, which are awesome. And then here, the squash and the melons, which this melon right here, are all wild. We didn't plant them. But the reason I wanted to bring you down here is because that half water cycle we were talking about, it actually, we're fighting, I shouldn't say we're fighting, but we're working with Mother Nature to create the full water cycle again. So around, all the way around this blueberry island, it's an island, we actually dug around it, we dug a moat, and that moat is harvesting rainwater. And so it's actually allowing water to go deep down into the system, where we have charcoal and wood chips and some beneficial biology that we applied, and they're tilling the soil. They're allowing that water to go deep to recharge that water table, and then these roots are going to follow it. So we're expecting to have blueberry roots 30 feet down. So I challenge you to do the same. All right, and make a little bit of a duck. So this is all new. We got lemongrass, got some more blueberries, some strawberries. I believe the Vikings used to consume. At least they were called something like that. I think they were like a 400-plus-year-old strawberry. Really about that heirloom. Here's a weed. I'm just gonna show you this weed real quick because we have weeds. I mean, if you look, there's some remnants of weeds that we just chopped and dropped. And people were like, oh my god, weeds! And we actually appreciate weeds. We understand that they're serving a function, and the function is to repair soil. So this is a brand new area. We just barely did this. So it was mostly uncovered dirt. And so that dirt was very barren, and it was rock hard. And basically the weeds are here to help till that soil for us. They're breaking it up, breaking up that compaction, and then they're also adding biology, because when photosynthesis happens, these guys are taking in carbon dioxide and the light, and they're creating carbohydrates, and they're actually putting those carbohydrates in the soil, some of them, and then those carbohydrates are feeding the life in the soil. So we're growing life in the soil, and then guess what? We chop it and drop it, and that plant material we just dropped also gets, like, we'll see roly-polies and pincher bugs, and they'll all eat all this material and then make free castings. So people like worm castings for their garden. Have you ever tried roly-poly castings? The best. So anyways, we'll chop and drop all of our weeds and let it build the soil. What ends up happening is we get no weeds over time. And I'm talking about a short period of time, especially if you use a quality filter. I'll show you guys the filter we use in a little bit. So, oh, I missed it, but there's a really cool avocado tree from my neighbor. We are all about sharing with our neighbors. We love that. This is a mulberry tree from our neighbor. And right now it's kind of just finishing fruiting, in the middle of making some new ones. So let's see if we can take a little close look. Whoop. Oh yeah. There's a nice mulberry. So these ones, we actually found they're tastier when they are light in color. Okay. Get you to focus. Here we go. So here we started some sweet potatoes, and we did this last minute. Our friends at Lethecius Farm were like, hey, we're doing last minute potatoes, and I was like, well, I guess I am too. And so we installed this. I think there's some corn and there's some melons and some other stuff growing wild in here. We use all of our raised beds like compost bins. So we literally just throw stuff down, and every single time we throw something down, it breaks down, and then the seeds come out of it, and we have something growing. So it's pretty cool because it just perpetuates more food in our garden that we don't have to work to plant. A marionberry that got stressed, we didn't water it for like half a year. We're really trying to this is kind of like a huge stress test back here. We've been experimenting to see like how much we can push certain plants to see what they're capable of, but also we really want to limit the water use, because in Visalia we have 100% of our water from the tap comes from the groundwater, and we actually have accomplished 45% water reduction in comparison to last year, while increasing our plants by about 10-15%. I haven't figured out the exact number, but somewhere along those lines, and it's really exciting. So here's the three sisters. Beautiful. So we got chapalote corn. Oh shoot, corn down. And I have to stand you up in a second. We got some hidden zucchinis. Love it. So black beauty zucchini, an heirloom, Native American zucchini. And then we got chapalote corn, which is a supposedly carbon dating. The archaeologists say this is one of the most ancient corns in existence. So it's really, really cool. It's used as a flour corn or a popcorn. And the bean is a tiger's eye bean. If you're familiar with the tiger's eye gemstone, this looks identical, and it's very productive here in Visalia, California, and that's why we chose it. We did an experiment with, like, I want to say almost 30 different types of corn last year here, and about 20 something types of beans. And wow, we figured out what does really well, what does not do very well, And so that's been really, really exciting for us. Okay, so this is all new here too. There's no plants here before other than this bush right here and that big bush there. But we've just installed all of these beautiful sunflowers. Wait, hold on. This one. Woo! Goes way up there. And these are all alpine strawberries down here. And it's really exciting because my mom walks out and she gets all these beautiful strawberries. We got some Palo Verde back here, and they're from a community garden out in the Mojave Desert. And then this is um, a honey mesquite, and so the honey mesquite is basically like candy. It's like the best wild dog treat you can give your dog, and also it's really good for people too. Makes great flour and great foods, so we'll do that. Um, yeah, we're really excited for the honey mesquite. We'll be planting that this year. Actually, in the fall. We like to plant our trees in the fall, and that's just because the rains really water the roots in. So next spring, everything just takes off. Here's our biochar. This is where we take our excess wood materials and we turn it into charcoal, and then we use it either in our garden to brush your teeth for teeth whitening. You can even use it for, it has cleansing properties, not just your insides, your intestines, and your digestive tract, but it also can clean your blood through magnetism. It can actually magnetically reverse the pull of the flow of nutrients or components. So normally they would go from your digestive system into your blood. It can actually pull and reverse that things from your blood into your digestive system. So if you have something bad in your blood and you want to pull it out, some biochar can help. Very regenerative. This guy, we no longer will be participating in our garden. That was an experiment for a while, and once we learned more about that, the dragon, forgetting exactly what it's called, but it's the flying dragon, I believe. It's a citrus, and that's, if I remember correctly, that's what they use for rootstock on a lot of citrus. And so we just wanted to see what it looked like, and now we saw what it looked like, and we're like, okay, experiment done. But it will not be wasted, that's for sure. Everything here goes full cycle. So then we got our mulcher, which, as you probably saw in our last video, was kicking booty. We had a giant pile. That pile just got demolished, and it was super exciting. Auger, very necessary if you're going to be doing rainwater harvesting ditches. If you're in Visalia, California, hit us up, and or nearby, and we can actually dig them for you. I have a team who is willing to help, so let's work together to make the world a better place. Compost tea. This is the Oregon State University setup. The only thing I added in addition is I added a secondary pump, and that's just because of the fact that normally the university, they have the center post here, and the center post goes inside the tea bag. And I didn't really like that setup. So instead, I have two air stones that hook up to this that go inside the tea bag, and then I actually have more airflow, which is really cool. It increases the biological growth, which is awesome. And yeah, it works really well. Got a submersible pump, so we can pump all the water once it's done here. All this beneficial biology, we just pump it all over our garden. Super exciting. We got some seeds chilling here, some pup equipment. Here we got some worm castings, some excess materials for compost tea. This is really cool. I'm really excited about this. This is a company called Simsoil, and let me get down here. So these guys, well, guys and gals, the owner is a woman, and she's very awesome. They actually started sponsoring our space because we kind of talked about what we were doing. They saw my presentation on biochar, and they're all for helping out. So they're here to help. So if you want to help regenerate the planet, help out Simsoil too. It goes both ways. You buy their products, you're going to regenerate the planet, but you're also going to support someone that really cares. So I'm trying to see if I can get a nice image. I might have to give me 1 second. Okay. So if we look closely, we got, I can't find my finger. Where's my finger? Oh, here we go. So we got
some nitrogen, I can barely see, but nitrogen fixing bacteria, I believe, fungi, some beneficial nematodes, and some bacteria eating amoebae. And so the thing is, we need full cycling of life in the soil. And so we have bacteria and fungi that are gonna maybe like break down wood chips or dirt and turn it into nutrients, but those nutrients are inside the fungi or the bacteria. And so now we need a predator to come along and to eat those organisms and then poop them out and excrete those nutrients into plant available form. So this actually helps cycle nutrients, and we can turn dirt into fertilizer, which, guess what? Everyone has dirt in their backyard. Wouldn't it be cool to not have to buy fertilizer? So this is going to help with that. Also, we're restoring, I kind of think of it as a releasing the wild. Like, imagine you had a zoo of like all these amazing different entities or different animals, and you had the full cycle in there, and you went out into nature, and nature's been depleted and it lost that. And so now we're releasing all those animals to be free, and they are actually restoring the habitat which they came from. So it's really exciting. Anyways, this is our much more organized compost tea section. We just have a little measuring cup in each one, and boom, we just throw all those ingredients into that tea bag that was in our compost tea brewer, and it's super awesome. CrossFit gear, super necessary. You want to, regenerative living is all about balance. So we're not only balancing what we're eating with our enjoyment factor, we have to have fun too, right? That's super important. And then we also have to work the garden, but we have to maintain like total health. So if we are missing a body part in terms of when we're working the garden, it's nice to get that balance, to have something to bring that back. And there's multiple things to the balancing of life. But again, regenerative living, we're focused on variety. Even the mind, you have to grow the mind, so you got to read books. One book we're reading right now is called Cross Currents. Highly recommend it. It talks about electricity and how the body functions electrically. So if you want to really be regenerative, that's actually a very beneficial book. I think it's Dr. Robert O. Becker, I believe. Really informative. Anyways, back to the tour. So we got the rainwater harvesting system here. It's not installed yet, but we have the tank, so we will be getting that set up soon. And let's see, which way do we want to go? Let's go. This grass, by the way, it has a lot of patchiness to it, and it's because we haven't been watering it much. But we're going to be using that compost tea brewer hidden back there, and we will be inoculating it with beneficial biology, which will allow the roots to go from inches to feet down, and that will allow water to go deep down into the soil, and then it'll act like a bank account and store water for a long period of time. Goal is to never have to water our grass ever again. We'll just do like one compost tea application per year. At first, it's just gonna be several, but then after a while, we probably won't even have to do any applications. But just to keep the life at maximum and get these roots continuously going down, it's gonna be really exciting. So, yeah, that's why we have some brown grass, is because we're waiting for the teas. Turmeric, actually, this is our turmeric section, and all those little black pots are its babies. We pup them out, and kind of like ginger, you just break off a little piece, but it's called turmeric. Most people are familiar with turmeric nowadays, and it's orange. And then you just plant each little section, and so one of these plants right here can last you the rest of your life, because you just break off one piece, plant it back for next year. All the other pieces can be used to multiply it out, or for food, medicine, whatever. So it's really cool. Got some passion fruit hidden in there. Let's see what else we got. This was all chaotic not too long ago, and I've organized it much better. I'm very excited about that. Very excited about that. It's nice. Organization is also kind of like increasing the feng shui, and that's very important for regenerative living. Here we have a bunch of drying materials that's being overgrown by some wild plants that we got, and this is going to be turned into biochar as well. So let's head into our orchard. This is another problem that we have, and we like to highlight our problems as well as our successes, because problems lead to solutions. So as you can see here, we have a peach tree, and the peach tree, it actually was very stressed, because this was our stress test zone for about 2 years,
And we actually had these fabric pots, which you can see this little fabric here. And that fabric, it's like a t-shirt. It's very thin. And so imagine wrapping a t-shirt on your feet and then standing on the hottest concrete. Yeah, so the roots were very stressed. The water was drying out of these pots way too quick, and so it ended up getting a disease, and it really ate up the tree stalk itself, and so it made it weak. And obviously we also let the fruit overbear in it. That was kind of our fault. We were just working on too many projects at once. But it's okay. We are learning and we're growing, and that's what's exciting. Goji berries, and this is a beautiful orchard. I love it. This place is amazing. We just installed some trellis up here, and it's just some paracord tied, and you can kind of see back here hidden. There's a little grape plant. We have 2 Concord grapes back here. And we'll just take a quick walk. Beautiful sunflower. Hi, Mr. Sunflower. So it's beautiful out here. I'm really excited. It's a great morning. So yeah, I love coming through here and just being able to pick fresh food whenever we want. There's oh, I missed it earlier, but there's dragon egg cucumbers over hidden on the patio, and soon they'll be coming out in here somewhere. Oh, actually back in another section, but dragon egg cucumbers is another highlight of our life. Check them out if you haven't tried them. I'm looking forward to these guys. It's called elephant heart plums, and oh my god, super tasty. This is what they look like when they're barely growing. Ooh, come on. We're waiting. We're patient. This is actually a wild sunflower. We did not plant her, and she is just enjoying straight wood chips, which is pretty cool. So no soil, just straight wood chips, and she's holding strong. Avocados. We have 2 avocado trees here. We have friends who have avocado trees. This is a walnut, Chandler walnut, but the avocados here. We have friends who grow walnuts in a nursery, and they swear that you can't put them in full sun. We've experienced very healthy avocados in full sun, but we use the beneficial biology, we use wood chips, we use multiple layers or multiple variables that help create a very strong system. Most people aren't doing the biochar in the soil, the wood chips on top of the soil, the compost teas, the oyas. If you haven't seen these oyas, they're amazing. So you have a buried clay pot. It's glazed on top. Oop, sorry, I'm dropping my phone. It's glazed on top, and let's see if I can get a better image of that. There we go. So it's beautifully glazed. It's done by this artist Karen at one wintry night, and it's filled with water, and again it's buried, so not glazed on the sides. And it's important not to glaze the sides, because if you glaze the sides, then the water can go within and without. So what happens is this the water is now, you fill the pot, and then the water releases into the soil when the soil is dry, and when the soil is wet, the water is held in the pot. So it's like a smart irrigation system that's low cost and really low tech in terms of, like, you don't need to buy a bunch of electronic devices that cost literally over, if you wanted to do this in a normal circumstance, it would be over $1,000 per, well, just for the setup, and then be like an extra $100 and something per plant. Let me get you to zoom here, focusing in. And so now we're gonna take a little walk through our corn. This is more chapalote corn, that ancient corn, and then I think this is a Russian sunflower, if I remember correctly. We saved seed from last year, so the label, the plant label is gone. I can look it up again if we have to, but just wanted to show you guys. We got a little herb section that we put in here. We have our melons growing out, and we're just enjoying. This is a little bench that we built. It's awesome. It's just fun to kind of sit and observe. But yeah, that's basically most of our garden. So thanks for coming along with us, and I look forward to putting out more videos for you guys and continue sharing what we've learned. So like, subscribe, and comment, and we really appreciate you guys. We do this for everybody. This garden is, yes, it's awesome because it creates food for us, but honestly, we do this to create, like, this flower right here specifically that we're ending on. We didn't plant for us. This is for the birds. It creates such a tiny sunflower seed. It's not even enjoyable for people, but it's for the birds. And a lot of people who grow gardens, they're like, oh, dang those birds, they keep stealing my food. Whenever we see them eating our blueberries or our anything, we get stoked because we realize that this land here is not ours. We may have bought it, but it does not mean we own it. And so it's important to share, and that goes with all animals. So we appreciate all animals. We appreciate you being one of those animals. And yeah, anyways, have a great day.